SoresanCrockxen clan members, anime fans, and others who have stumbled upon this video. I'm SoresanCrockxen, and today we're back with another anime time with Soresan. Technically, this series ended on Saturday, but I'm getting to the review today, Monday, so I'm sorry about that. But today we're gonna be talking about Sword Art Online 2. So let's go. Let's go with the story. So technically, Sword Art Online 2 has 3 individual storylines that are going through. And I'm gonna try to generally say what happens in each plot. So essentially, in the first plot, you have Gun Gale Online, which was the thing that was advertised when Season 2 of Sword Art Online was announced, which is essentially a game where guns are the main weapon, and it's all about gun people and strategy and stuff like that. And the struggle of Kirito trying to protect Shion from Death Gun. That's the plot there. Then the second storyline is literally just, I felt like it was just complete bullshit filler. I don't know if it's canon, but it's essentially Kirito, Asuna, and the rest of the gang trying to find Excalibur to save a world from crashing into another or something like that. I didn't really figure understand. And the third one was just a really boring storyline involving Asuna and the confrontation between her and her mom, thanks to another girl named Yuki who ended up. No, I'm not gonna spoil that just yet. But yeah, that's our essential storyline. So we're gonna go into detail later on, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Let's move on. Now, animation-wise, I've always liked Sword Art Online's look. It's always looked great. It's always looked polished. Season 2 was actually even better looking, I'm not gonna lie. The music was fantastic. I didn't really care about the first opening, but the second opening was phenomenal. I loved the song. And I later found out it's actually sung by the voice actress for Asuna, which just means that chick has a lot of range. Just saying. But the animation's smooth. Some of the fight scenes looked really great with the way they were transitioning everything. One of the things I really liked was the fight between Kirito and Death Gun. That was amazing. The way they made that fight look was fantastic. Some of the boss fights they did in Alpine Online were pretty cool. Like the one where they were fighting the giant, I don't even know what the heck, Ice King or something like that. I don't even remember. That was cool. I did like the art style that they were presenting. Can't talk. And the music has always been great in Sword Art Online. That's one thing. The openings, on the other hand, have always been like meh with me. I really didn't care about any of the openings until the second opening of season 2. But music, like OST tracks themselves, have always been fantastic. So that's the thing that they kept going strong heading into the season. So gotta give them props where you gotta give them props. So characters, I'm gonna be talking about kind of like maybe 5, 6 characters in this. I'm just trying to be I'm gonna go into this as fast as possible. If you have not watched Sword Art Online 1, why are you watching this review? Just a quick question. If you have watched Sword Art Online 1, well, you already know how Kirito is, and you already know how Asuna are. Yeah, you already know how Kirito and Asuna are, so that's not really going to be a big deal. Kirito in this whole the whole Gun Gale arc does actually kind of change from his normal format, because the whole confrontation with Death Gun, which is the other character I want to talk about, is the fact that both of them were in Sword Art Online, and Death Gun just happened to be part of Laughing Coughing, which, if you guys saw season 1, was essentially the guild that went around killing other players, because why the hell not? And so Kirito's main goal or main strive in the first part of season 2 was essentially trying to figure out who the hell Death Gun was, and then when he figured out that he was actually in Sword Art Online, that made him completely freak the fuck out, to the point where half the time he didn't even know what the hell he was saying or doing. but he's still his hacky self, where he's just badass from the start, and there's no way anybody can beat him because he's so awesome and amazing. That is until the other story, like not the Excalibur one, he's still badass self, but the other one, I got confused, especially since it wasn't even focused around Kirito, and he's supposed to be the main character. I mean, there were moments with Kirito, but it was all Asuna, which her point, there was no point to her in the Gun Gale arc, and Excalibur was all about Kirito getting Excalibur, and then the last arc was kind of lame in my opinion. I get that Asuna. I mean, the problem with Asuna as for me as a character is the fact that she was so badass in the first season, like the first half of the first season. Season two, like the second part of season one, she was just there in some distress. Season two didn't really do too much to expand her character, except for the fact that it made her even look weaker than before, which made me really not care about anything that happened in that entire arc, because I always thought that Asuna was supposed to be this badass chick who could do whatever she wanted because she was on she was on equal planes to Kirito. But no, they just made her look even more pathetic, even though the storyline was about her. Um, and then you have Shion, who's a complete badass. Like I loved Shion from the very beginning. She was just a straight up gangster. Okay, she went in on Gun Gale like nobody's business, and she handled her shit. And I like the fact that they did this whole thing with her where she had split personalities, to where her video game avatar self was a complete badass, and then her real life self was kind of like the shelled out little girl who was afraid of holding a gun because she committed a murder in self defense when she was younger, and people shunned her for it. So she has a fear of guns in real life. I like the fact that she has those two sides, and then she actually learns to grow from her Gun Gale avatar to the point where she feels more comfortable in real life in holding a gun, and just being comfortable around guns in general. So they gave more progress for her than anything for Asuna. That's very disappointing. But she's still a badass. She's probably one of my favorite characters now. Um, I've already talked a little bit about Death Gun. He was part of Laughing Coffin. He was the guy named Red Eye something. I don't even remember exactly what his name was, because Laughing Coffin wasn't really important back then. He got taken down. There was apparently 3 killers on the loose, which left a bad taste in my mouth, because at the very end of the arc, there's still one guy roaming around, which makes absolutely no sense. Like, the real Death Gun got caught. Like, the guy in the game was caught. And then one of his sidekicks, which was actually his younger brother, got caught. And there's another third guy who knows where the hell he's at. Um, so, yeah, that kind of just dropped off the face of the earth. Um, and then Yuki is the other character I want to talk about, and maybe Asuna's mom. Yuki is essentially the other main protagonist of the last arc, alongside Asuna. She's a girl with AIDS or HIV. Yeah, she's with AIDS. She's been with AIDS her whole life. She's basically dying off, and she can't really do anything in the real world because she's in a hospital bed. And the way she's in the virtual world is because they put this thing on her head, which lets her go into virtual reality, where she can be free and roam and do whatever the hell she wants. She can't do anything in real life because she's stuck on a bed. I guess, I mean, that part was somewhat interesting. I guess I'm not really sure. And then Asuna's mom was, I guess, the main antagonist, which was complete bullshit, because the problem with that whole arc in general is the fact that they really pushed Asuna's mom as being a complete bitch, but you already knew how it was going to end, so there was really nowhere. There was no way for them to build up that arc in a way where you didn't know what was going to happen. So I was really disappointed in the fact that they tried to do that type of storyline. It was ridiculous. But yeah, that's basically it for this. On to the next part. Alright, so last episode 10. I'm really just gonna explain the literal last episode of the season, which is the last arc's episode, because I feel like going into every last episode would be a real hassle. But essentially what happens is you know, everybody in Asuna or Yuki's group ended up, they achieved what they wanted. Uh, she's basically going to die. That is the whole purpose of the whole episode. Is she's going to die. There's no way around it. The disease just took a grasp. She's gonna die. There's no way around it. She's going to die today. Um, and so apparently she's been fighting the disease. Like she's been fighting the disease her whole life, but the past 3 months she's been really fighting it because she's been enjoying her time with Asuna and the rest of her friends and Kirito and the gang and all that stuff. Just having fun, chilled out, doing everything they wanted to do. So she's herself has mentally been fighting really hard against the disease. So she had some extra time, but it's done. She's going to die, and essentially what happens is that all her friends, Kirito and the gang, and basically everybody in Alfheim basically come in to like pay their respects. She ends up giving Asuna her own original, like one of a kind, specific character to her skill, so that Asuna can then have it, and then eventually Asuna plans to pass it on to the next person, so that Yuki's spirit lives on in some way, shape, or form inside the world. Um, which I guess was a nice touch, but at this, I just didn't really care too much about the arc in general, so it was not that great. I mean, people were crying, and usually I get very emotional, but I honestly did not care enough to get attached to any of these characters. Especially since I already knew she was gonna die at the end of the season. It didn't help either. It makes it's a lot worse for you when you don't expect it to happen. Or at least it's better if you don't expect it to happen. If you don't know it's gonna happen. But that's essentially it. The episode just literally ends with after she's dead, her friends aren't. They're all sick, by the way. Like one of them has leukemia. They all have some type of terminal or close to terminal disease. Um, but essentially, it's them and Alfheim, or no, they're in the park, and they're all chilling out, and everything. And Kirito and Asuna are just sitting, talking about their future and how they want to be together forever and ever and ever. Yui in there like, with a camera because Kirito somehow was able to crack well, kind of have a camera so Yui could see everything. Um, by connecting to the virtual world, and you have it on your shoulder and it looks all over the place. And that's essentially it. That's what happens in the final episode, which kind of was the disappointment. I honestly didn't even know this was the last episode was this week. To be honest, I was just so out of it with this season that I just didn't know when that it was over. That's all I'm gonna say. Now, Sword Art Online is one of my better like series that I've watched during my life. I thoroughly enjoyed season one, even though I had friends and family members who obviously just obliterated. They just bashed the second half of season one. I actually liked some of it. I didn't like the fact that Asuna was, damsel in distress. It's one of the main reasons why I hated the complete second half of season two. Um, and it's just there were so many things wrong with this. Like I will say, I liked the Gun Gale arc. That was fun. It was great to see Kirito actually break down for once and not be his whole almighty self that nobody can kill or nobody can do anything to because he's just so damn awesome and perfect. Sorry, uh, but it had that at least. So my rating for this season of Sword Art Online is watching. And if you don't know what that means, essentially all I'm gonna say is watch the Gunga arc and be done with it. There is no need for you to watch the stupid Excalibur arc, which was complete bullshit. I honestly hated that arc. It was like not even an arc, it was a mini arc. It was like 3 or 4 episodes long, maybe, if that. And just the last arc was just completely boring in my opinion. So I don't recommend watching it. But remember, this is just my thoughts, my opinions. Feel free to give your own in the comments. If you accept my rating, well then just watch the Gun Gale arc and be done with it. And don't even bother with the rest of it. I really am not excited for a season 3, and I do not ever want to see a season 3. I think that right now, this is all I need for Sword Art. Give me Axel World, and I'll be fine. Axel World season 2. That's what I want. Wow, wait, just kick Sword Art World down. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. That's gonna be it for this anime time. Hope you guys enjoyed. As always, leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. I'm pretty sure that before this, yeah, the Pokemon Genesis walkthrough episode. If you guys are remotely interested in Pokemon at all, I am playing that. So check it out if you guys want to. And don't forget that this video is always in a playlist. I don't know if the playlist ever shows up anywhere. But if there, I have plenty of other anime reviews out there that you guys can watch. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. I'm SoresanCrockxen, and I'll see you guys in future videos.